Hello there! I am your Demon King of Heretics, Ahriman le Méchant. And today we'll be playing Please Be Happy Again. Let me just adjust my mic a little bit. There we go, that should be better. Alright, let's see. What is there anything else I should talk about before I start? Sorry about the confusion last night. I was trying for like 20 minutes to get FGO connected to the computer, but as you can tell, since there's no VOD, no memory of it, I mean, it could have happened, but no, it didn't happen. I was trying for 20 minutes to get it to connect to the PC, you know? So, yeah, no, there was no FGO stream last night. I'm not gonna let that get in the way of future FGO streams. I'm gonna try to do it again later in the week, I suppose. But probably not this week, since, well, my schedule is packed already. So everything's gonna be the same, except just no FGO this week. Even though I really want to play it. So, yeah, tomorrow... Oh, right, I should probably mention tomorrow last, since that's the most important one. Yeah, so, what was it, Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday we're gonna be playing Doom again, and... what was it? Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. Thursday I'm gonna be playing Fallout New Vegas for the first time. Like, actually the first time that I've ever picked up the game. I actually haven't played it before, so I'm a little bit excited. But, yeah. Tuesday. That's gonna be my first collab with Elise. And so... Wait a minute. Didn't the Jump King count as a collab? Yeah, no, it's gonna be my first collab with her as something other than an intrusive voice. So, you have that to look forward to, I guess. We're gonna be on both her channel and mine, just in case mine goes kaput again, like it did with Cells. I really need to test Portal 2 after this, so yeah. So this is gonna be a little bit shorter than usual, but yeah, no. Gosh, this is probably the longest I've talked without actually doing gameplay. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. Hey, no, don't start. No, hey, no.
I'll race you.
No, I wanted to load. I wanted... Stop. Load. Here we go. Did I accidentally mute? Is it muted? Am I muted? Oh, yeah, my headphones were muted. I don't know if it was actually muted for you guys, but no, here it is. We're back. I'm so excited that I end up missing my turn to take me back to the library, lost in my thoughts about what'll happen when I get there instead. I don't even realize that I've zoned out until I reach the edge of Mount Victoria, right where the city streets turn into Parkland.
Good thing I can find my way back from here.
Yeah, you've gotten pretty good at navigating through here, I gotta admit. I'm still within the area that I've visited before, so I'll be able to use the mountain as a landmark to find my way back. I hummed to myself as I turned back, had a buzz with pleasant thoughts. If I give Juliet my person's name, I'm sure she can help me track them down. That's what she specializes in, after all. And I'm sure Aspen will want to hear all about their life too. She loves stories, and I'm sure Jonghyun will have a ton. I'm not sure how they'll feel about seeing me again. I doubt they ever expected it to happen. They'll definitely be surprised that I'm not just the fox they met back then, but a person now. I have a feeling they'll be at least as glad as I am. Oh. I may be halfway home before I realize that I'm not alone. The prickling sensation on the back of my neck is unmistakable. My instincts are telling me that someone else is nearby. Oh? Well, what could it be? If not me. Should I just go? Sorry, Miho. I don't mean to intrude. I'm still near the mountain, but it's practically empty here. I can hear the sounds of other people in the distance, but they're all hidden by the hills and trees. I whip my head back and forth, but try as I might, I can't work out where they are. It's a strange and disconcerting feeling, given how easily I can pick up even the smallest animals. Then, from the corner of my eye, I spot a bush slightly shuffling. Just as I turn to take a proper look, the silver fox I saw the other day steps out of it.
Oh, it's just you.
Uh-huh. I start to bend down and reach out a hand like I would to a pet dog, but hesitate. I know from experience that a fox wouldn't respond to that. I'm surprised she hasn't run away already. That's what I would have done. She stares at me without the slightest movement, her eyes locked on mine. My heart jumps as the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Something is off. Oh, so it's not me. Okay. Uh-huh. Then, without taking her eyes off of me, she starts to transform. Oh shit, what's going on? I barely have time to be shocked as her arms and legs get longer and her fur retracts, head shrinking and changing into something more human-like. For the first time in my life, I'm face to face with another Gumiho. Oh shit! My throat tightens and goes dry. My vision narrows and my ears start ringing in shock. It's as if the world has fallen away, except for me and her. Ho ho ho. The silver and black clothes she's wearing seem to shimmer in the moonlight, like the skin of a snake waiting to strike. Hanging loosely on her frame, the wrapped fabrics around her body and face make her appear almost formless. Her only accessory is a bracelet around her wrist. It's a plain leather band, but a shining white bead is held in the middle by another loop of leather. I recognize that bead. I had one just like it. Well, almost like it. Oh. Uh-oh. Hostile? Question mark? Question mark? Whereas mine is duller, milky color, hers is so bright that it almost hurts to look at. The soft blue glow around it reminds me of the full moon. It's almost like she stepped out of the painting I just saw at the museum. Oh shit. Is that... oh. A shawl covers most of her face, but her hair and eyes are still visible. Those intense eyes. Her gaze reminds me of steel. While they're the same shape as mine, they're sharper, angrier, crueler. She haughtily tosses her long flowing hair back as she takes a step towards me. I skip back, keeping the distance between us. When I lived in the forest, I knew when to flee when I met a predator stronger than I was. Better to get away alive than risk my life for pride. My survival instinct tells me that this is one of those times. The other Gumiho laughs, but there's no humor in it. Sharp and hollow, it only makes me more uneasy.
So, the human pet still knows when to run. The human... what? Pet. I've been watching you for a while. Ever since you came to this place, actually. Watched you demean and domesticate yourself for the sake of humans. It's pathetic. When you first arrived, I was hopeful that we might be alike. Optimistic, even. I was a fool.
Is that... Well, first of all, is that the one we saw in the museum? The one with the painting? You know, with all the blood and stuff? Is that... Second of all, is that Doko? Is that... Hold on.
I see you now for what you are. Nothing better than a dog, begging for its master's affection and table scraps. We are not the same. We are nothing alike.
Her words hang in the air, poisoning my good mood from just moments ago. My first instinct is to run away as usual. Something stops me, though. I'm entranced. The novelty of this experience, of finally meeting another Gumiho, keeps me rooted in place despite my fear. No matter what she's like, this is the closest I've ever been to someone like me. I swallow the lump in my throat and hope that my voice doesn't shake as much as I think it will.
So what? Did you ambush me just to say that? Ambush? You should have known weeks ago that I was following you. But I repeat myself. You've numbed yourself to your instincts and your potential.
Oh, crap.
I saw you in that place of memories.
No, so it's not. It's not the one from the museum.
Portrait of one of our sisters. I hope that you would open your eyes, as you haven't before. It pains me to see your existence do disservice to our very kind. Now that you have seen what you could and should be, perhaps you can still change yourself, dog. Sharpen your teeth and claws once more. These creatures that you bind yourself to, those human and those not, they are but shackles, slowly squeezing away at which is wild and free in you.
Okay, so...
Do not mistake my words for sympathy or pity. I would see you gone from this place. But so long as you remain, your presence is an eyesore. It pains me to witness. Thus, I will do what I must to cure it, as unpleasant a task as it may be.
Okay. Okay.
You will never be one of them, no matter how much you might crave it. Better to embrace what you are and can be.
Okay.
Anything else is a waste of your abilities.
Lady, you should get back in your lane. She studies me for a moment longer, but then turns away. I feel like I should say something, but I can't find the words. Whether from shock or fear, I'm too dazed to so much as stammer out a denial. Her clothes melt away into silver fur as she transforms back into a fox. I reach out to stop her, but she flits off and disappears into the darkness without a moment's hesitation. The world around me rushes back in, my skin suddenly feeling cold in the night air. The rush of emotions going through my head evaporates, and the adrenaline that was running through me ebbs away. I'm just left there, alone. Closing my eyes, I muster the strength that I haven't tapped into for weeks. My bead warms as I transform, my body following the same motions as the other Gumihos. I try to start chasing her, but my first steps on 4 legs are shaky. I've grown unfamiliar with this form, almost stumbling over just trying to move. Maybe there's a bit of truth in what she said. I take a few more steps towards the brush, but soon give up. Even if I caught up with her, what would I say? What would I do? I'd only make a fool of myself. There's a scent on the wind that I couldn't notice as a human, but is unmissable as a fox. I recognize it almost immediately. From a long time ago, on one of my first mornings here, when I first woke up from my den near the mountain and stepped outside and knew that someone had been there. It was her. She really was following me from the beginning. For a long moment, I watched the place where she disappeared. Then, I transformed back. I don't really feel like a fox right now. I don't know what I'm feeling. Some of what she said is true. I haven't used any of my talents in a long, long time. My clumsiness when I'm in my fox form, my own original body, is a reminder of that. But as for degrading myself for the sake of others, that doesn't feel true. I spent my entire life living free, and for only myself. It's always been my choice to remain here, and to not be forgotten. So why do her words sting so much? If I was totally confident in my decision, then they shouldn't bother me, right? Maybe I've forgotten more of myself than I know. The painting at the museum and the other Gumiho herself both prove that there's something different about me. Something that must come easily to everyone else. The same way all aspects of daily life at home don't come easily to me either. I feel disconnected, torn between 2 worlds that I barely know, but can't help being drawn to. Where do I fit in? Where do I belong? I know that Juliet and Aspen would say, but does that make it true? Their home hasn't been my home for long. I've been a thief and a liar for so much longer than I've been whatever I am now. Without anything to gain out here, I slowly start to make my way back home again. The excitement I felt about telling Juliet and Aspen about everything I found at the museum has vanished. It'll have to wait for another time. After a quiet walk through the empty streets to the library, I quietly slink inside, trying to keep Juliet from noticing. I just don't feel like talking right now. It seems to work. I can hear her bustling around somewhere, but she doesn't call out to me when I come in. Without a word, I ascend the stairs to my room as quickly and quietly as I can and climb under the covers. It's far too early to go to bed, but I don't know what else to do. If I'm awake, my thoughts will only be a bother. Better to sleep it off and hope that I feel better in the morning. Hey, wait a second, that's dangerous. Hey, wait. Miho. Yesterday's events, both the good and bad, linger in my mind while I perform my usual routine of tossing and turning in bed before I get up. Now that the shock's worn off, I feel a little better about what's happened. I wonder if I'll forgotten about the other Gumiho by the end of today. In fact, now that I think about it, it's possible I had met other Gumiho before and just forgot about them. Everyone forgets meeting me, so maybe it works in reverse too. Rather than dwell on the idea, I choose to ignore it. There's no way to know. I just drive myself crazy wondering. Instead, I keep myself busy by making myself more presentable for work. Hey, go downstairs. Go downstairs now. Miho, what are you doing? Heading into the bathroom, I clean myself up using the soaps and shampoos given to me by Juliet. She's helped me so much ever since I started working here. Miho, go downstairs. Looking into the mirror for one final check before I head downstairs for breakfast. I can't help but think of what the other Gumiho said, how I've domesticated myself. My spotless face looks back at me, framed by fluffy and pampered hair. I can't deny that I've let myself be spoiled by the others, content to just go along for the ride. Go downstairs. Go downstairs, Miho. I lightly pat my face, like I've seen Aspen do sometimes when she's getting ready to start her own job. I'm not sure what it's supposed to accomplish, but it makes me feel a little more confident. Miho. Heading downstairs, I'm treated to the familiar scent of fresh cut fruit and frying eggs, as well as the pleasant sound of Aspen and Julian chatting about books. As I enter the kitchen, I'm greeted with 2 smiles.
Morning, Miho.
Oh, thank God! Oh, thank God! Oh, thank God! Oh, thank God! Oh, that would have hurt. That would have hurt a lot. Okay. Okay. Oh. 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 Oh God. Okay. Oh.
Good morning.
Good morning. Breakfast will be ready soon.
Cool.
I slide into my usual spot at the table and grab some apple slices, munching on those while waiting for the other 2 to go back to their conversation. Instead, both of them look at me expectantly.
So, how'd it go? The museum? Of course. What else?
Was everything all right? When I didn't hear from you last night, I was fearing the worst.
Oh, nah. It was fine. They even had what I was looking for. There were some more scrolls by my person.
There's a loud clatter as Aspen drops her forks in surprise. Even Juliet's eyes go wide with genuine shock.
There were?
Uh-huh. Wait, why are you surprised? What? I mean, sure, the traveler might not be famous, but...
Are you sure it was them? Yep, definitely. I'd recognize that style anywhere. I learned a lot about them.
Huh?
Their name is Tongyi, and they're a scholar. I don't know what they study, though. The museum person didn't say.
Changyin. Yeah. For a long moment, there's silence, other than the sound of eggs sizzling in the pan. Both my friends just stare at me, dumbstruck.
What are those looks for?
Yeah, what are those looks for?
You seem awfully calm.
Uh-huh.
I assumed you must not have found anything, or you'd have been back immediately.
Miho, this is a good time to tell them.
Yeah, well, there was...
Miho, you dumbass. Wait, hold on. We're going back to this. We're going back to it.
Yeah, well, there was some other stuff that happened.
Miho, that seems awfully important to just leave for later. Come on. Come on now. It's tempting to tell them about the Gumiho, if only because I know they'd reassure me about everything she said. But that's why I can't tell them. Not yet. In a way, I'd just be proving her right. But you're putting them in danger, holy crap!
Well, alright.
Miho, come on. Come on. You gotta tell them. It's not a good idea to... You saw the picture of the under Gumiho. What's stopping Silver from just tearing these two open, huh? Come on, you gotta tell them.
We'll be here whenever you need us.
Thanks. Is breakfast ready?
I mean, they were cooking it.
Yes, just now. Here you go.
Thank you. Juliet fills our plates and takes her seat, and we all dig in. It's a quieter meal than usual, with only the sounds of chewing and silverware scraping against the dishes. I feel like Aspen and Juliet are having a conversation in their silence. Of course they'd expect more from me. I'd expect more from me too. And right after leaving the museum, I was that excited. I still am excited, of course. It's just been tempered a little. I still plan to ask Aspen and Juliet to help me get in touch with Jungyeon, but I want to wait until I can do it with a clear head. Once everyone's finished eating, I gather up the dirty dishes and take them to the sink, while Juliet washes the pans and Aspen wipes down the tables. Another routine morning.
I'll see you two later. Thanks for breakfast.
My pleasure, as always.
Bye!
With that, Aspen politely takes her leave and heads out the door. Oh yeah, I should tell you guys about the breakfast I had yesterday, because I also had eggs again. Yeah, no, I tried making poached eggs, and for a guy that doesn't know how to make poached eggs, it went about as well as you'd think it would. One of them just broke in the pot, and the other, well, I thought it didn't look like it had enough color, which is actually how, well, it was how a poached egg was supposed to look, but I thought it needed a bit more color, so I put it on the skillet. Let's just say the fire alarm didn't like that. So I just had one egg on toast with a little bit of Tabasco, and it was a lot more, it was honestly a lot more hassle than it was worth, to be completely honest. So yeah, not trying that again anytime soon. But yeah, let's keep going. Juliet and I then go into the library, ready to start the day. Or end it in her case. I head to my spot behind the front desk and begin getting everything ready. The checkout sheets, my pen and pencils, my study materials, and so on.
Are you all set, Miho?
Yep, I've got everything I need.
Good girl.
Wonderful. Well,
Uh-huh.
I'll leave you to it then. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too. Sleep well.
From the way Juliet lingers halfway between me and the stairs, I can tell she wants to say something or ask something else. She thinks better of it, simply giving me a smile before heading up to her room. I whistle while I throw open the curtains and unlock the door. By the time I've returned to the counter, ready for the first patron to arrive, I even managed a light melody. I've been practicing my whistle a lot lately, as a way to spend time while alone. Aspen tried to show me how, but she's not very good at it either. I'm pretty sure I'm already better at it than she is. The sound of it reminds me of the birds back in my home forest. Before long, patrons start to arrive, and I soon have a list of things to do. Books to check in and out, books to return, books to search for. It keeps me good and busy. The hours pass by in blissful normalness. In blissful normalness. There we go. And I don't have a single thing to complain about. Huh? Oh. Uh-huh. I guess do we not have anything new? Maybe the Bell House? I mean, if I go to the Bell House, I'll have a chance of seeing Lena. That might be worth it. Oh, wait, oh, the Bell House is along Cuba Street? Oh. Oh, that's news to me, actually. Okay. I'll have to check out the... Yeah, I'll have to check it out later. I was just going by the scenery. Maybe... Yeah, I guess... Yeah. Bell House. Uh-huh. I didn't have enough spare cash in my pockets today, so I just ordered water and a plain bagel as an excuse to relax and enjoy the cafe's ambience. Perhaps out of pity for my meager order, my cashier slips me a free packet of cream cheese too. An angel. As I'm people watching today's patrons, I notice a guy staring at his drink with an expression I can only describe as complicated, like he's trying to solve some riddle with each sniff he takes. Finally, divine inspiration seems to dawn on him, and he takes it to the counter.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry, but did I forget to order this with oat milk or instead of regular dairy milk?
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yes, that's dairy milk. I can remake it for you right away.
No, it's my mistake. I just feel bad that this will go to waste. I'm allergic, so if I drink this, well, I can't say what will happen to me.
Perhaps he catches me staring, or maybe because my table is the closest one to the counter. But the guy turns to me and catches my eye.
Do you want this drink, miss? I promise I didn't touch it directly.
Huh? Oh, are you sure?
It's just gonna get thrown away otherwise.
Well then, yeah, thanks. Free cream cheese and free coffee? Who needs money? You just gotta sit around and look cute and good things will come your way. That's a fact right there, mijo. Yeah. Oh. All right. Wonderful way. Wonderful way. Are we going to get another map set? Ah! It's a rainy Thursday morning and the library is as dead as I've ever seen it. Even Aspen didn't come by this morning simply because she didn't want to get soaked. We'll see each other later instead. The only patrons here are the ones who don't mind the weather, so I have to make sure they don't drip on any of the books. Before she went to bed for the day, Juliet left a bunch of towels... Juliet left a bunch of towels near the... I did it again. Juliet left a bundle of towels near the door for anyone who needs one. At least it makes my work easier, and the slow day means I have extra time to study. I'm able to remember most of the letters by now, and even read a few words. I haven't told Juliet or Aspen about my progress because I want to surprise them with it later. After an hour or so, I set aside my pencil and gaze out the window with my chin resting on my palm.
Huh. It stopped.
Oh. It's still cloudy outside, but the worst of the rain seems to be over. I get up and walk to the window, looking around at the soggy view. Wait. I leap backwards in surprise as something suddenly splats against the glass in front of me.
Whoa!
What's that? What is that? Is that a jellyfish? At first it looks like a puddle of water that's stuck to the window, but then it starts to... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. I know what this is. I stare in confusion as a pitiful-looking face forms in its middle, then frowns at me. Suddenly, it hits me what I'm looking at. This must be a water elemental. I've never seen one for myself before now. Oh! Oh, I thought that was a slime. They usually hang out in rivers or lakes, but I've heard that they'll sometimes come out onto dry land when it's rainy. That must be what this one did. Now that it's stopped raining, though.
Oh no, you could dry up.
Just like a fire elemental can die if its flame goes out, a water elemental like this could be in trouble if it doesn't stay wet. The weather might still be damp, but the sun is starting to poke through the clouds.
Okay, wait right there. I'll go find something.
Yeah, go help the little jellyfish. I don't know if it can understand me or even hear it all, but I wave at the window and hold up one finger to show that I'll be right back. After a quick peek to make sure there's no patrons waiting, I hurry into the kitchen and dig through the cabinets, hoping to find a pot or something that's big enough. The biggest one Juliet has is the one that she uses to make pasta, and even that might be too small. Plus, I'm not sure if she'd want the taste of water elemental to be there every time she tries to make spaghetti.
Where else?
Bathtub? I could just wake up Juliet and ask her, but I should really try to solve this myself before bothering her. Instead, I start hunting through the other rooms for something that might help. There's nothing in the bathroom, nor in the library area. When I checked the dining room a second time, however, I noticed a big bowl on top of a shelf that I hadn't seen before.
Perfect.
Uh-huh. Is there anything in the bowl? I have to stand on one of the chairs to reach it, but I grab the bowl and fill it half full with tap water before hurrying back to the window. The elemental is still stuck there, like a very sad bumper sticker. It already looks a little smaller, but it ripples with excitement when it sees me, a frown shifting into a watery smile. Oh jeez, that's actually a mood right there. I head out the front door and skip around to the window, squelching through the wet grass as I go. You could have just opened the window, you know.
Here you go. Come on.
Holding the bowl up to the window, I gently brush the elemental in. To my surprise, it doesn't feel like touching regular water. Instead, it's thicker and a bit sticky, like jelly. The elemental starts to slide in the bowl and bubbles, which I hope is a good sign. It doesn't mix with the water in the bowl, but instead kind of hovers with water both above and below it. When it fully gets itself into the bowl, it almost fills it up. The water sloshes over the edge and onto my hands, leaving the bowl almost dry except for the elemental itself. The bubbles stop, and an uncertain face peers at me from the bottom.
Alright. Let's get you inside and figure something else out.
Okay. I hold the bowl as steadily as I can, and try not to spill anymore as I go back into the library. Just like the guests at the library, I have to make sure not to get any book sweat. There's an empty side table near one of the reading chairs, so I set the bowl down there. The elemental seems not fine for now, but it looks worried again. It reminds me a lot of Aspen. That's mean.
I'm not sure what else to try.
Is there not a bathtub in here? I racked my brain trying to think of something I might have missed in the bathroom or kitchen. Miho, you better not think of that. I just had the thought, and we better not be having the same thought.
Wait! That bathroom! That's it!
Miho? Kneeling down in front of the bowl, I try to reassure the elemental, which is doing its best to stay absolutely still and not slosh.
Okay, don't go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
If you even can.
Uh-huh. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that's good. Oh, God. Okay, you're smarter than I give you credit for, I'll have to admit. Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
This ought to work for a bit.
No, I thought she was gonna try to put it in the toilet, honestly. Leaving the water running, I go back and retrieve the bowled elemental. This time I end up spilling more of the water, but luckily it only hits the ground. The tub is about half full by the time we get back, which should be perfect. I turn off the faucet and carefully pour the elemental in.
How's that?
There's a stream of excited bubbles.
Cool. Sit tight, and I'll find something we can use to get you back to the river.
Like a wait, does Wellington have grocery bags? More bubbles. Quickly, but not in as big a rush as before, I go to resume my search on the second floor. Because this place is so big, there are still a few rooms that I've never seen. I'm pretty sure Juliet wouldn't mind me going in since I'm trying to help someone out. The first room I try is a closet, filled with towels and bed sheets and laundry stuff. The room after that is locked.
That's weird.
Uh-huh. I tried the knob again in case it was just stuck.
Nope, definitely locked.
I wonder what's in there before. I wonder what's in there. I've never paid much attention to that door before since it's so far from my room. I drop to all fours and try to see what's under the door, but it's too narrow to see anything. Another nearby door isn't locked, and even better, isn't a closet. Aside from the doorway, which isn't particularly bright, it's pitch black when I step inside. I flick on the light switch, but the bulb fizzles and dies right away. It only takes blah, blah. It only takes a moment for my eyes to adjust to the darkness, and what had at first just been dark smudges turned out to be a bunch of boxes and assorted junk. A storage room. The whole place is covered in dust. I guess Juliet doesn't come in here either. Peeking into one of the boxes, it's filled with old kids' toys like dolls and stuffed animals. Another one has some folded up clothes. Just as I'm about to give up and try another room, a half-covered object in the corner catches my eye. A heavy blanket is draped over a glass box, which is full of more random junk. I haul it out loud and remove the blanket, smiling at my find. It's a big fish tank, just like the ones I saw at the museum.
Score!
Uh-huh. And after turning it over to shake out as much of the dust and debris as I can, I triumphantly take the tank to the kitchen sink to rinse it out before hauling it to the bathroom.
Look what I found.
When I set the tank on the edge of the tub, the elemental floats up to the top of the bath and ripples. It takes some maneuvering to hold the tank under the faucet, but eventually I'm able to figure it out and fill it up. Then I use the bowl from before to scoop up the elemental and dump it into the tank.
Perfect, right?
Well, I sure hope there's not a line. More ripples and bubbles.
Okay, let's get you to the river.
Woo! I wrap my arms around the fish tank and lift. I nearly tear my arms off.
That's heavy.
Well, yeah, it's a fish tank full of water. I didn't notice when I was just getting the tank set up, but with all that water in it, it weighs a ton. It's way too heavy for me to carry to the front door, much less all the way through the river.
This could be a problem.
Yeah, I think it could be, actually. It had seemed so perfect, so lucky. Even after dumping out some of the water, I still can't carry it. Sitting down on the tile floor, I sigh. The elemental floats dejectedly.
Miho? What's going on?
Oh, Juliet, hi!
Bathtub running.
Juliet is standing in the doorway as I look up, wearing a look of concern on her face.
Hey! It was raining earlier, right? Well, there was this water elemental
Yeah,
in the
that's the
window.
truth. That's the truth right there.
I tried to bring it inside so it wouldn't dry up while I worked out how to get it back to the river, but now I can't carry this huge fish tank that I found.
A fish tank? Where'd that come from?
It was in one of the storage rooms, along with a bunch of kids' stuff. I'm
Yeah?
guessing they came from the library's children's section.
Juliet purses her lips, and I feel my heartbeat start to quicken like it always does when I'm in trouble.
Sorry if you didn't want me to go in there. I didn't know what that room was or what I was even looking for until I found the tank. I didn't look inside the locked room, though.
Juliet's frown deepens, but it doesn't look like she's angry. More like she's... sad?
No need to apologize. You've done nothing wrong.
Uh-huh.
Although...
Uh-huh. I wait for her to finish her sentence, but it doesn't happen. Although?
Never mind. It's nothing. Let's focus on helping our friend here first.
Uh-huh. She reaches into the tank and scoops a handful of the water before dripping it back onto the floating elemental. The creature seems to enjoy it as far as I can tell.
Any ideas?
An idea comes to mind after you mentioned that storage room. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay. I sit back and relax as Juliet departs. I'm glad she didn't get upset after all, but something was definitely bugging her. I wonder what it was. This is probably one of the moments that's gonna come back and bite us. Yeah? Like, it's gonna be a bombshell, and I'm gonna think about this exact moment when it happens, and I'm gonna be like, oh shit, whoops. After a couple minutes, I pick up the sound of something rolling down the stairs. I stand and poke my head out the door and spot Juliet pulling a red wagon. A red wagon. A red wagon behind her. It has a rope handle and isn't very large, but should have more than enough space for the tank.
Whoa, you're a genius!
Yeah, how are you gonna get it down the stairs, smarty pants? With a smile, Juliet parks the wagon next to the bathtub.
As I said, you were the one who gave me the idea.
Uh-huh.
Would you mind helping me lift it onto the wagon?
Sure.
Sure.
Oh god, we do have the same brain cell. Okay. We each take one end and carefully move the tank. Juliet also brought a number of tight straps to help keep it in place. Once it's all set up, the elemental is safe and secure. I kneel down to get my face level with the glass.
How do you like that?
This time, the elemental shifts into the biggest grin I've seen.
Looks like we've got a winner.
Woo!
Wonderful. If I watch the library, would you mind taking it back home? You're welcome to borrow an umbrella.
No problem. Be back soon.
Yay! Taking a towel and umbrella for myself from the front door, I lead the elemental outside and onto the path. It's cloudy out and more gray than blue, but at least it's not raining right now. Still, I don't want to waste any time.
Is anywhere in the river okay?
The elemental bobs up and down.
I know just the place then.
Oh, hello there. The muddy path slows down the wagon a bit, but it isn't too bad. When we go downhill, I have to be careful not to let it get out of control, but other than that, it's pretty easy. From the bottom of the hill, it's not too far to the spot I had in mind. I noticed a small abandoned ramp into the river way back when I was still living in the woods, but it wasn't useful to me then.
Don't know why anyone built this place, but it sure worked out for me.
Neat. Kneeling near the bottom of the ramp, I wrapped the wagon's rope around my waist to keep it from rolling away, then undid the straps on the tank. With both hands, I gently tilt the tank onto its side. The water and elemental spill out, floating down the dirty concrete and into the river. The water begins to churn immediately, bubbling as if something huge is coming to the surface. A rushing sound echoes around the empty area before a torrent of water suddenly shoots upward like a fountain, arcing clear over me. As I look up, I see the elemental shimmering within the water, catching the light from the sun. For one brief moment, the most beautiful, vivid rainbow I've seen hovered before me, so close that I could touch it. Then the water and elemental crash back into the river, and everything goes still. I smile, certain that I understand.
You're welcome.
That's good. Oh, hey, we're back to the map. No Lena this time. Okay. Well, we got the kid and his mother, or is that his mother or his father? I forget. But on the other hand, we have Mr. Kim. I think you guys know what I'm gonna do. Fishing time! Feeling bored, I head down to the waterfront and Mr. Kim's fishing lessons. This will be the third time that I've gone. I was prepared to give up last time, but actually catching a fish was a lot more satisfying than I thought it would be. Hell yeah! Women fear me, fish desire me carnally! Woo! Wait a minute. Whatever. Fish fear me, women fear me. I am wanted in 73 countries. There we go. That's better. I'm sure I'll keep doing it in the future, too. I guess that makes it one of my hobbies at this point. At the very least, it's been better than just wandering around town. When I get there, I'm surprised to find the fishing spot is empty, other than Mr. Kim himself. He's sitting on a folding chair with a sandwich in one hand and a book in the other. He sets both down as he notices me arriving.
Hey there, miss. Something I can help you with?
Oh, I was here to go fishing, but it doesn't look like anyone else is here.
Well, yeah, it's Mr. Kim's here. That's enough, isn't it?
If you're looking for a lesson, then I'm afraid the pool's closed. Which is to
Pool's
say
closed?
the next one doesn't start for a couple of hours.
Pool's closed. Huh.
But if you just want to try your luck with the ocean, you're more than welcome to borrow a rod.
Woo!
Sure. Thanks.
Now that I know what to do, I don't really need Mr. Kim to walk me through it each time. I should be fine on my own. I attach a lure and then cast my line out into the water.
I hope I don't catch the same fish as last time.
Well, I sure the fish hope so too. Even though it probably doesn't remember. You know, Gumiho and stuff. Since there's not much else to do, I look out to the sea while I wait. It's been a long time since I've been on a ship, or even a boat. A long time ago, they were the best way to get around. But ever since there started being airships going all over the world, I sneak onto those instead. While I'm standing there reflecting, Mr. Kim comes up beside me.
No bites yet?
No bites.
Nope. Nothing.
Maybe the fish all went out to eat.
Wait, isn't this them going out to eat? Or maybe they're eating in. Yeah, that's it. Like usual, he takes a moment to laugh at his own joke. Never change, Mr. Kim. Never change.
That's fine. I had to wait even longer than this last time.
Oh ho ho.
That's the right attitude to have.
Oh.
They can keep you waiting for a while.
Yep. I guess that's
You've
right.
been waiting for a long time for a certain fish, right?
How'd you know that, Miho? Huh?
Spot on. Who told you about that?
This is a good opportunity, Miho. You should tell him. Let him in on your little secret.
I took one of your lessons a while ago. You told me about it then.
Yay!
Huh. Well, my memory sure isn't what it used to be.
Tell him, tell him, tell him, tell him.
Anyway, you're absolutely right. Not just any fish. He's the king.
The king? I'm sorry, am I your fish? I'm not your fish. Sir, I am not your fish. Let's get one thing clear. I am not your fish.
The king?
The king, I guess. I'm not your fish, dude. The way Mr. Kim says it sounds dramatic.
Yes, the king of the ocean.
Oh, different king, different king, different king.
He travels the waters of the world all on his own. He takes his meals from a different fisher every night.
Uh-huh.
It's said that if he chooses you, you'll have 7 years of good luck.
Or a very nice sashimi plate. He winks, giving me a big thumbs up. Oh, he wouldn't if he heard what I just said.
Not a bad deal for catching a fish, right?
I guess.
7 years. Wow.
Sounds pretty nice, doesn't it?
I'd like 7 years of good luck. That'd be pretty nice.
To tell you the truth, I don't care too much about that. But the privilege of being recognized by the king of the ocean, now that is a prize worth chasing.
Okay, I can understand that actually, yeah. Yeah.
So, if he's always swimming around the world...
Uh-huh. I tried to picture it in my head. That's a lot of water. 7 out of 10. Too much water, I guess.
He only comes by once a year. 1 day is all you get, and then he's on to his next stop. And then the next fisherman.
Okay, but how do you know which day it is? Huh? How do you know he comes yearly?
No wonder you've been waiting for so long then. How many years have you been after him?
Oh, I've given up counting at this point. 16, 17, who's to say? I stopped keeping track at least 5 years ago.
Then how do you know it's yearly, dude? Come on.
I've seen him once, which is more than many can say, but he swam right past our shores.
Oh.
I heard he was landed a few towns away.
I'll bet he must be huge if he's the king.
Uh-huh.
He's not tiny, that's for sure. His scales are every color at once, and they look like gemstones in the water.
I see.
Whoa. I want to see him.
How funny would it be if he's actually just a really old sardine?
You'll get your chance in a few months. He's due to swim past Wellington a couple of weeks before the new year.
Okay, so that's a little while. Wait, what day is today here?
I'll be ready.
I'll try to. What do I have to do?
Fish. Just keep fishing.
That's up to you. Some say it's just luck. Some say it's about having the tastiest looking bait. Some say the only thing that matters is where you're standing when he passes by.
Uh-huh, so it takes into consideration feng shui. I see. Well, we don't know how to do that.
I try to get to know the fish and the sea. I figure if they trust me, they can put in a good word with the king.
Oh, that's a good method right there, actually. Yeah. Mr. Kim talks to me about fish and fishing for a while longer until it's time for me to head off. Although I didn't catch anything again today, I still like hearing those stories, so it wasn't a waste of time. In the end, he invites me to come back and fish anytime, whether it's a lesson or not. I promised to take him up on his offer, even though I know he won't remember it. I'd like to see this king too. There are still a couple more months before he'll be here, so that's plenty of time for me to get better fishing. Wait a minute. Okay, what day is it though? With that new goal in mind, I head back home, already looking forward to returning. Okay, but what day is it though? Well, it's Thursday. I guess that's an answer to my question? Maybe? All day it's been showering off and on. Raindrops are still pattering on the roof even now. At least the frogs outside are comfortable, happily croaking away in the dark night. To stay off the cold, I keep a warm blanket wrapped around me while sitting up and watching TV. I don't really understand all the complicated things the presenters are talking about, but it's interesting to see their reports from all around the world. My ears prick up as I hear someone walking up to the door, a series of 3 knocks gently ringing out against it. Always 3, from Juliet.
Yeah?
New outfit! New outfit! New outfit! New outfit! New outfit! Everyone, shut up! New outfit! New outfit! New Miho! New Miho! Woo! Woo, 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 woo. Oh, that's cute! It almost looks like a cross between a casual tee and a sailor uniform. Holy crap! Okay, yeah. It is. Oh, it even has little pockets like a sweatshirt. Oh my god! It's like the mix of the 3 best sort of things. It even has a pocket protector. What the heck? Miho, I love your style. I love your style right there. She still has her beads, but I love her style.
I'm making some tea. Would you care to join me? I can make some hot chocolate as well.
Sure.
Sure. Be right down.
Wow, we still share the same brain cell. Okay. Well, no wonder where my words have been going. It's all going to her. A warm drink sounds nice right now. Not wanting to leave my cozy blanket, I decide to hold it tightly around myself and waddle down to the kitchen with it. The stairs prove difficult, but I manage. Oh! Ooh, ooh, ooh! New Juliet too! New Juliet! Woo! There are already 2 mugs sitting on the table when I arrive, and the kettle is already steaming. As I take my seat, Juliet pours boiling water into each cup.
You knew what I was gonna say before you even asked me, huh?
I had a feeling, yes.
Huh. Good instincts. She pushes my mug across the table, and my hands peek out for my blanket to cradle it. Happy for the warmth, I hold the mug for a while before tasting the steaming hot chocolate inside.
I like the hot chocolate you make even better than the stuff at the Bell House.
Ooh, that's a good compliment, I think.
Why, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. Although I imagine Aspen wouldn't be.
Well, I mean, she wouldn't, but it would motivate them to, make better hot chocolate. But that's probably a matter of opinion.
Do you ever go there? Now that I think about it, I'm surprised we've never gone together.
Okay, so it's my turn for the brain cell. Got it. Miho, she's a vampire. She can't go out. Or, well, I mean, if she brings her parasol, she might be. But still, that's like midnight for her, dude.
We haven't. Well, why don't we change that sometime then?
Huh?
Perhaps we can meet Aspen for breakfast there instead. It has been a while since I've stopped by.
I see. Okay.
Sure! I've never gotten any food from there. Only drinks.
I see.
You're in for a treat then. They serve delicious pastries and
Hey, wait a
sandwiches.
second. You got a bagel there yesterday, Miho. Don't lie. Don't lie.
There's a particular one that I know Aspen enjoys. Although, I can't remember what it was.
Uh-huh.
That's okay. I'm sure I'll be fine with anything they have. I can't remember the last time I tried something that
Would it be the
didn't
fairy
like.
kiss?
That must come in handy when traveling the world so much, I'm sure.
I hope it's the fairy kiss.
Oh, yeah. Can't afford to be picky when you don't know the next time you'll even have options.
And that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Have you found a favorite food? or type of cuisine that you most enjoy?
Free food.
Not really. Most of the time I just eat junk food or leftovers. Not really anything fancy.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Understandable. If there's ever a certain dish or meal that you'd like to try, it would be my pleasure to help make that happen.
Ooh. Can you make some injera? Do you know how to make injera, Juliet? Do you know how to make little toppings and stuff? Like the little dips? Do you know how to make that? Do you know how to make that, Juliet? Can you make that for me? Can you make that for me? Maybe me, but me? Me too? Come on. Come on, please make it. Make me some injera, please. I want some injera.
Perhaps we could even learn to cook it here at home, so you can have it any time.
Yeah.
Sure.
I tossed that onto the mental pile of if there's ever anything that Juliet's offered me. I know she means well, but at this point I can't remember everything she says that about. The two of us continue to chat for a while, and I recount the full day's events with the elemental to Juliet, wrapping up with the story at the point where I came home from the river.
Oops. That reminds me. I never put away the wagon. Let me know where it goes, and I can take it upstairs when I go back to my room.
Huh.
Wagon? Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Juliet quickly looks away, taking a sponge and busying herself with cleaning some loose sugar off the counter, but it's obvious that something's off. I'm not sure what to do. It's so rare that Juliet's the one who seems uncomfortable. In fact, this is the only time I can think of. Other than when I first met her, of course, when I tried to steal that painting.
By the way, who does all that stuff belong to? The wagon and the toys, that is.
I see, so you're not going to tell her about the Gumio, but you're going to ask her about the obvious trauma? Okay.
Were they part of the library children's section before or something?
No, they were personal possessions. Not part of the library.
Uh-huh.
Oh, like from when you were a kid. I'm surprised you managed to keep them for that long then.
No, not my childhood.
Oh.
Huh?
The sponge stopped moving. Juliet's shoulders slumping as she gives up trying to work. I feel a little bad for making her act so oddly.
If you don't want to talk about it, that's totally fine. Sorry. I didn't know it was sensitive. I'm really, really sorry.
It's fine. You couldn't have known.
Uh-huh.
Besides, perhaps it's only right that you know.
Okay. What are we about to know?
Know what?
Same brain cell. She turns back towards me, taking a breath before she continues. Her eyes don't look at me, though. They're looking past me.
Do you remember when, several weeks ago, I told you
has it
that
already
I
been
met
that long?
someone who changed my life? Someone who made me want to be a better person?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, her name, my daughter's name, is Cosette.
You have a daughter?
You have a daughter?
I'm genuinely shocked at how in sync me and Miho are. But yeah, you have a daughter?
Yes, and she's been the biggest blessing
Oh.
in my many, many years of life. Although she's not of my own flesh and blood, she was my child.
I see.
I found her on my doorstep one morning, tucked into a basket with a blanket and scarf around her. It was cold that morning, so very cold. When I opened my door and saw the silent bundle there, I feared that she was dead. But she was not. She was so very alive, and despite the cold, so very, very warm. She was barely a year old, if that. Yet she didn't cry. She could have been there all night for all I knew, but she never uttered a sound. I brought her inside, of course, just so she wouldn't freeze. Beyond that, I was panicked and confused. I'd never wanted a human child. I didn't even know how to raise one.
Uh-huh.
To this day, I don't know why whoever abandoned her chose my doorstep to leave her on. Of all places.
Uh-huh.
But how wonderfully, impossibly lucky I was. Because she didn't cry, I thought she might be mute.
I see.
But that wasn't the case. She had a great deal to say. And as she got older, she would talk and talk. Every word was like...
Oh, sorry.
I felt so fortunate. And so unprepared. I suddenly had life and well-being of another in my own hands. Her future. Her everything. It was a responsibility I had never asked for. And likely would have never asked for if my life hadn't changed that day. She grew and grew. From a curious baby to precocious child. Then to a confident young lady. And finally, to a lovely woman.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't have been more proud as a mother. Every graduation, every breakup, every smile and tear changed my life.
Oh.
As my daughter, of course it would be true to say that I raised her, but it was mutual. She also made me into the person I am today.
I see. Once Juliet finishes speaking, I let out a breath I don't remember holding. Just as when she first started speaking, her gaze is fixed on an empty wall somewhere above my head. Just like when Aspen gets sucked into one of her books, I can tell that Juliet's mind is somewhere else entirely.
The moment that I resolved to raise her, I made a promise. To myself and to her. A promise that I would do all in my power to make the world Cosette lived in, grew up in, a better one that I had experienced.
I see.
That I would show her how to find the beauty and the joy in all things dark and terrible. In a sense, I ceased to exist as a single person. My life was no longer my own.
So, all those toys and things.
Those must have been Cosette's.
Yes. The treasures and mementos of another life.
Another...
Of happy days filled with laughter. Of scraped knees and tummy aches. Of heartbreak and homecomings.
Uh-huh.
I keep them there as not simply a reminder,
Hold on a second, guys.
but a tribute to those times.
There we go.
Wow. I would have never guessed any of that. I never knew you were a mom.
Neither did I. Her gaze returns to me, to the world that we're in now. She gives a little smile, but it looks fragile.
Well, I suppose it's not something I speak of very often.
Uh-huh.
Does she live here in Wellington?
Miho,
Could I meet her?
shh, Miho. Juliet regards me with a strange look, similar to earlier with the elemental. It's not that she looks angry, but like she's thinking about something very hard. I stare back, not sure what else to do or what I might have said wrong. Like always, her expression soon softens.
She is in Wellington, yes. A bit of a walk, but not too far. You can go in the morning if you'd like. It's been a little while since I have.
Is this gonna go how I expect it? Alright.
Sure. Fine by me. I guess it is getting kind of late for a visit, huh?
It is indeed. Speaking of which, I actually have some business I must tend to myself. Will you be alright on your own, Miho?
I mean, yeah, we're about to go to sleep, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, of course. Don't worry about me.
Have a good night then. See you in the morning.
See you. I'll be ready to go first thing.
Uh-huh. As Juliet leaves, I watch her go. It might just be me, but it seemed like she left in a hurry after saying all that. Miho. Maybe she and Cosette had an argument about something. Or maybe she just didn't want me to meet the other people in her life. I'm probably just imagining it. The way she talks about Cosette is so different from to the way I've heard Juliet talk about anything or anyone else. I can tell she cares a lot about her. Hopefully it'll make more sense tomorrow after I get to meet her. Meow. Meow, meow, meow. When I finally decide to head up to my room, I take the wagon back first, as I promised. I have to pick it up and carry it to get it up the stairs, but fortunately it's not that heavy, even with my blanket bunched up inside. Once I get to the second floor, I put it down and drag it the rest of the way to the rest of the way to the storage room. After pushing the wagon into its empty spot, I take a proper look around now that I know what this room actually contains. More than just toys, I also spot racks of clothes and stacks of books, and all other kinds of belongings. The room is pretty packed. Slowly making my way back to the door, I carefully maneuver between a rocking horse and a dollhouse, taking care not to step on anything or knock it over. Taking one last peek around before I head to my own room, I get the feeling that there's nothing missing from Cosette's childhood in here. I can't say for sure, but it certainly seems like Juliet hasn't let anything go. Miho. Miho. The morning air is fresh and crisp, the plants around us looking healthier for the drink last night. A handful of small puddles here and there are all that remains of yesterday's rain, likely to be completely dried up in a few hours. As I stand by the front door of the library, Juliet walks beside me and unfolds her parasol, bringing it over her head.
Shall we depart? It's about a 30-minute walk from here, so perhaps we'll take a ride back once we're done.
Has Miho ever been in a car before? Or is it something other than a car that we're going to take a ride on?
Yep. Will you be okay in the sun with that?
Yeah, will you?
Yes. It's still early enough that I don't need to worry too much.
I wonder what the vampire rules for this universe are. Like, is she just going to sparkle, or is she going to, like, just vanish?
Lead on then.
Stepping out into the brilliant morning, I stretch and roll my shoulders. It's a nice day, not too cold and not too hot. As always, Juliet's steps are measured and even as she walks. Her parasol bobs with each step, making it look like she's wearing a big hat from this angle. I smile to myself at the image as I skip along beside her. Even with protection from the sun, it's rare to see Juliet out in the daytime. Well, yeah, it's like her bedtime right now.
So, I was wondering something.
Miho, I swear to God.
If your daughter lives so close, then why doesn't she come to visit more often? I've been here for a couple months now.
Miho. Miho. Although she clearly heard me, Juliet doesn't answer. Maybe it's too personal a question because things are tense between them. I've never seen Juliet nor not answer one of my questions before, so I don't push it. Juliet remains quiet as we keep walking. That isn't unusual for her, but I still feel a little awkward.
Sorry if I shouldn't have asked that.
No, it's all right. You'll see when we get there, though.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We head in a direction that I haven't explored before. We're in the same area as the gardens, but not quite the same spot. A massive green hill watches over us from one side, while trees blanket the other. After crossing a small bridge that runs over the highway, we reach another beautiful area. The concrete path we walk along is lined with bushes and flowers, and the occasional decorative lamps. There are a few houses peeking through the trees which ring the area, but most of the field is still covered in nature.
Whoa. Are we getting close?
Yes, we're very nearly there. This is Bolton Street Park.
Uh-huh.
She's pretty lucky to live in a place like this, huh?
Miho!
Even as a child, Cosette had an affinity for the woods and trees.
Cosette, huh?
I get that. I'll bet she would love to be able to turn into a bat or a fox.
I'm taken off guard by Juliet letting out a great laugh. I don't think I've ever seen her like this. A little giggle or rarely, a chuckle from time to time, sure, but never anything so relaxed and sincere. A grin spreads on my face just from watching her.
Yes, I think you're right about that.
Yep. There are only a handful of houses around the park, so I wonder which one is Cosette's. Time and time again, we walk on past the turn which lead to any of them. Just as I start to wonder where it is we're going, Juliet slowly comes to a stop. The main path forks into two here. The one to our left, a well-trodden dirt path. There's a sign, but I can't quite read the writing yet.
Everything okay? We're not lost, are we?
Heavens, no.
A number of tall trees shade the path that we're on, giving enough protection for Juliet to slide her parasol shut. She takes a deep, silent breath and then smiles and gestures down the offshoot before us.
It's right this way. Just a little further.
Uh-huh. Nodding, I follow again as she leads us onward. Right away, I notice that something is a little bit off. Juliet's steps are slower and a bit more uneven, like she doesn't want to get to wherever we're going. After a few minutes of walking in silence, she takes one last turn off from the path we were on, leading me up a small hill dotted with trees. Once we reach the crest, Juliet comes to a stop. Still confused, I step up beside her.
Here we are.
Huh? I don't see... Oh.
In the shade of one of the trees is a gray stone monument. Its edges are rough and worn from time, but it's spotlessly clean. There are others like it nearby, practically identical. Words are carved onto the stone, too small for me to read easily. I've never visited before, but I realize what this place is. I silently mouth the letters of the word at the top, even though I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to say. There's a C, then an O, and then an S. Cosette's grave is preserved perfectly. I'm sure Juliet wouldn't stand for anything else.
I'm sorry. I didn't...
Yeah. No, that's what I expected.
It's okay, Miha. I'm aware you didn't know, but I wanted you to.
She turns back to the grave, gently running a hand over the curved stone.
My beautiful, precious daughter passed away years ago. Almost 2 decades by now. She lived a long, full life and spent her final moments with those she loved. The last words she told me, the last words she ever said to me.
Juliet's shoulders shake without a sound as I stand there, helplessly. She shudders as she takes a deep breath.
Or that she couldn't have been happier.
What was she like?
She was so many things that it's almost impossible to answer. I think you would have liked her. I'm sure she would have loved you. She was adventurous and free, sometimes stubborn to a fault. Once her heart was set on something, there was no stopping her. Everything she did vividly, to the fullest. Even if the very laws of existence told her something was impossible, she would try anyway. She was endlessly kind, with compassion for every living thing, from the smallest insect to the largest, most ferocious beast. She saw the value in all of them.
She gives a small smile as she looks at me, even as tears well in her eyes. I gulp to try to force down my own emotions.
You should have seen her as a child. She would talk your ear off. Both of them if you'd let her. There wasn't a single person near us who didn't know who she was. So open and free was she. That warmth and care. It was the core of her life. If she saw someone in need, she would rush to their aid. It just naturally came to her. If you or I see someone hurting, we may choose to help. For Cosette, it wasn't a choice. It was simply who she was. To know her was to adore her. Even on her last day, she was worried for me more than anything. I promised her that I would...
Juliet sobs, dragging her hand across her face. All I can do is watch. My own emotions a storm that tosses me in all different directions. The pain in Juliet's shaky voice is enough to make my own breath tremble. But beyond that, there's something else. Something eating at me that I don't want to acknowledge. Juliet turns back towards the grave, taking a couple steps closer. Unfurling her parasol, she holds it above her shoulder like a shield, guarding herself against the sunlight. She's also able to stand a little straighter.
I promised her that I would live as she did, to honor her memory with kindness and with virtue and with compassion and patience for all. That I would ensure her legacy lived on in the many lives she had touched. It was only in the days that followed her passing, as I wandered lost and alone, that I truly began to understand how much she had saved my own life. The gift she gave me was something I'd never had before. Purpose. How very silly and irrelevant things such as wealth and prestige began to seem after that. Those were fleeting concepts, born as some misplaced need or desire. There was something that could be much greater. Something well beyond money and power. Love. As a word, it's difficult to understand. To hear the poets speak of it, there's nothing mightier and nothing softer. Love was either everything or it was nothing. It always seemed so trite, so mature. An attempt to create meaning where there is none. And yet, I've found that the poets were right. They were so right. You and I, Miho, to be able to live on, unaffected by time's curse, must surely seem a blessing to some. But that time is meaningless without something to fill it. To those of us who walk alongside Father Time, rather than fleeing him, it's awfully lonely. When I first became a vampire, I told myself that I had no more need for humans, that I was beyond them. Now, I realize I was afraid. There's a simple contentment and joy that can only be found in experience and age, I've learnt. Wisdom does not exclude humans, but to look on as one's vibrant hair fades to grey, and as one's strong hands soften their grips, as one's treasured memories become distant. There is pain, To watch someone you love grow up is beautiful. To watch them grow old is to suffer. Cosette lived into her 80s. A good, long life for a human. Even as her flesh started to fail her, her mind never did. She was sharp as a sword and quick as a fox. For a human, there is no kinder, gentler end than that of old age. And every day, I'm thankful that Cosette was one of those lucky ones. To slip away peacefully and painlessly. As I held that soft, shaky hand for the last time, I wished desperately that I could trade places with her. I would have done anything to give her just one more day. But there was nothing to be done. Cosette passed on with no regrets, and a smile on her face. She lived as full a life as any human could live, and when she was gone, I was still there. My flesh not a day older than when I met her.
Okay, wait, give me a second. Okay.
It was then that I realized what a cruel gift immortality could be. What a slow, repetitive torture if I chose to let it. So for the sake of Cosette's memory, and of the promise I made, I swore that I would continue to live as I had not lived before. For virtue, for friendship, for others, for tomorrow. To die is human. To live is a privilege.
With absolute clarity, the storm inside me calms as I pass through its eye. There's a sense of finality in Juliet's words, which leaves them ringing in my ears as I stumble backwards without thinking about it. To die is human. All humans. Cosette, someday Aspen, but also even mine. My person. Understanding hits me like an arrow to the heart, and I barely notice the look of surprise on Juliet's face as I transform, turning tail and fleeing into the forest. My person, the one I've searched for my entire life, is dead too. Long dead. No matter what happened after they left their forest, the nature of their human lifespan means that they lived lifetimes ago. Generations ago. As I run farther and farther away, one thought echoes above the others. All this time, all these years, all these decades, they've been for nothing. I dig my claws into the earth with every step, tearing at the roots and leaves. Do I know the name for the feeling pulling and tugging at me? I do know the name for the feeling pulling and tugging at me. The one that had taken over Juliet as we stood there. The one I've heard of but never felt until now. Grief. Every lie. Every step. Every struggle and hardship. Everything. For nothing. That word swirls in my head. A dying leaf drifting towards the ground, falling and powerless to stop itself. Finally, I come to a stop, not even knowing where I am or for how long I ran. I just stop when I lose the will to run anymore, transforming onto my knees. Every decision I've made, every place I've gone, all had been in service of one dream. Over time, I grew to rely on it. I didn't ever have to think or make a difficult decision for myself. Instead, it was like I had a path to follow, however long. But that path wasn't actually leading me anywhere. All it did was take me far away and leave me on my own. Rising to my feet, I look around the area. Although the trees and slopes remind me of Mount Victoria, I don't recognize it at all. Juliet's nowhere to be seen.
The sprawling sunlight means she couldn't join me here even if she wanted to. Even if she found me. I wonder if she's looking. Juliet, who always seemed so calm and put together. Behind that mask, she was hiding all these feelings. What else don't I know about her? What else has she been keeping to herself? Is it just more pain? An ice-cold chill runs down my spine, making me shudder as I realize something else. She must have known, too, that my person was dead. She must have figured it out right away. Yet she never told me. Aspen, too. Suddenly, every pained look or topic change whenever I brought in Jiangyin makes sense. They both knew, and were hiding it from me all along. This whole time, letting me go on and get my hopes up without ever stopping me or telling the truth. No. It was so simple, too. So obvious. If I just thought about it a bit myself, I'd have realized that humans live and die much faster than my kind do. Sighing, I sit down on the grass, wrapping my arms around my knees. I mash one palm to my eye to wipe away the tears that are there.
Stop crying, Miho.
With a few deep breaths, I manage to fight away the stinging pressure, and keep myself from breaking down even more. I sigh again once I'm certain it won't turn into a sob. Now that the initial shock has worn off, the pain from my heart has gone from a sharp stab to a dull throb. Aside from pure survival instinct, death has always been distant and faceless to me. But now I have to look it in the eye. My time with Jiangyin was short. Thousands of times shorter than the time I spent looking for them since then. Still, it was all I had. Where do I even go from here? The sun is getting higher, so Juliet must have made her way back home by now. She might even be waiting for me to come back. We both know I have to at some point. It's getting hotter for me too. Shakily, I rise to my feet and look around again, actually trying to get my bearings. If I have to, I can just go back in the direction I came from until I find something familiar. I start walking back towards the library since it's the only place I can have to go. I may think of it as home for now, but I can't help but picture Juliet's sobbing face. Immortal or not, there has to come a time someday where we don't see each other, and that will be the end of our memories together. Or at least, her memories of me. The same goes for Aspen, as mortal as Cosette. Aren't I just resigning myself to feeling this pain again someday? Potentially even stronger? Maybe she was right, the other Gumio. Maybe I don't belong anywhere. Ooh. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, no, I kind of figured that was where that was going, but I didn't consider that connect the dots there. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's been about an hour and a half. I think I'm gonna wrap up here. And yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, no. Whew. Right. Okay. Yeah, so the next time I'll be live will be for Portal 2 with Elise. Yeah, then day after we're going to have Doom, and again after that we're going to have Fallout New Vegas. Yeah. Ooh boy, that was heavy. Okay. Wow. Ooh. I'm not gonna lie, I almost got I almost got to crying like in the middle of that. So yeah, it's been fun, guys. I think I'm gonna leave it off here today, though. Y'all have a good night or a good afternoon or a good morning wherever you are, and I hope we can see you all at the collab tomorrow. All right, bye bye. Very well, I suppose.